I'm actually presenting on behalf of a friend, so I have to qualify by saying that I might not even be able to respond to many of your questions. So I'm just here as a spokesperson, nothing more. So I've been a champion of this, I've been an observer, but I've not really been directly involved in actually making this happen. So no credit goes to me. So I'm speaking on behalf of Raghib Hassan, who is the founder of this initiative. He is in the US studying at University of Alabama right now. So Shikok means in Bangla teacher, or somebody who educates. And it was founded by Raghib Hassan. He's a computer scientist living in the US right now. And many of his volunteers who have contributed are researchers, educators, and experts, educational experts all over the country who have contributed to making this happen. So basically what this is, the motivation behind this was to create a kind of a very low cost platform for online content that could be accessed by people from around the globe and where people could actually also upload contents too. So that was the basic idea behind this. Bengali was, it was mostly targeted, at least the first version of it is mostly targeted for Bengali speaking population, and Bengali is the fourth largest language in the world just because of the sheer size of population of Bangladesh and West Bengal. Not a lot of people know that, so Bangla, there was a practical reason behind going fully with Bangla also. So the solution is basically it's a highly localized MOOC as they call it, basically a massive online course, I think, open online course based model, and it's basically a crowdsourcing model where people essentially upload their content, video content and other kinds of formats. So there are, they use mobile phones, they use computers, they use a variety of platforms to upload this information. And there are also some non-internet based delivery mechanism that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So why reinvent the wheel? Because existing MOACs are often not enough. The Khan Academy one has been tried out in Bangladesh. It has not been very successful because they've been doing voiceover and translations, which have not been very conducive to learning. I have found very strongly that they prefer Bangla lectures over dubbed content. So I'll just skip this. Now I'll skip this too. So a lot of the other alternative MOOC platforms are extremely expensive. What this has basically created is a very low cost platform where you can upload information. So I'll skip this also. So the other thing that was very kind of fundamental to the design of Shikok was it was done through a human-centered design approach to really find out, what users really want and how they search for information, how they look for something that they're interested in. So they designed the portal in such a way that sort of catered to that process. So this is going into details regarding those. I don't think we have time for those. So the total development cost, basically this is hosting cost, is about $15 per year, I think, to be hosting this platform. Yeah. Yeah. So the other approach that I was talking about, so because a lot of rural students do not have access to the internet, so basically a lot of this content is basically being provided or distributed in rural bazaars, so that people can go to these rural bazaars, because you have a lot of these computer repair shops in rural areas. I'm sure that is the case in India also. So those are the repair shops that are being targeted, where you have a lot of people already going in for a variety of purposes. They can also sort of upload videos and these kinds of content to their mobile phones as needed. So that's another approach. The other is the cable TV partnerships. So you have a lot of cable TVs, local cable TVs running. So a lot of this content are also being distributed through those. And the third approach is what are called a Raspberry Pi computer, which is basically a kind of a very small device, about $35, which can be connected to any monitor or TV. So these Raspberry devices, I mean, the content is also being put on these devices so that they can be projected through any monitors that they have available. So essentially, these are the non-internet based mechanisms of disseminating content. So these are again, social media has been one of the biggest like drivers for the marketing bit. Yeah, I've already covered that. Yeah, so basically, I mean, within the first 3 years, about 75 online courses have already been put online. Total registered number of students about 100,000, and then total number of quizzes, tests taken again about 100,000. So these are the latest figures. Total unique visitor in 24 months is about 1.2 million. Total lecture views is about 6 million, and then so on. So the upshot of this is that this is getting a lot of attention. So the need for something like this is very apparent. And I think it needs to be fine-tuned over the coming years to really cater to the needs more. Sorry about the patch up.
It does?
Yes, done.
Okay. So quickly, we'll take 5 to 6 minutes because we also have the certificate distribution open to panelists as well as the audience for any questions, comments.
I'm avoiding any questions.
Basically a general question, just a conversation.
Yeah.
Just to get the conversation going. I mean, what is the next step? How is this project evolving?
So the next step is essentially there is one thread where they're trying to get a lot of educators and researchers and teachers to upload content. So that's one thread. The other thread is about marketing this to students. So I think those are the two threads because I mean it's not really well funded. I mean it's being run by somebody who's a full-time student in the US. So right now it's more of a crowdsourced mechanism of just it has an autopilot mechanism of just growing. And my understanding is that when he has more time, I think he'll give a more managerial structure to this. So right now it doesn't really have a managerial structure as such. I mean a formal managerial structure, but it's sort of growing on its own. I mean that is the surprise in all of this.
Thanks. Any questions for Archana from MindSpark?
I have a question for you, if that's possible. Since a lot of the content is user generated, the only question is how do you curate and make sure that the content is of a certain standard?
Right. I mean, right now that is not done. I mean, from what I know, again, I mean, it has to be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, not a lot of screening is being done because, as I was saying, that there is not a managerial support behind this. So right now, a lot of the stuff is not screened very well. I mean, there are certain criteria that people abide by, and hopefully they get screened out automatically. But those are exactly the kinds of things that you would need. I mean, for the next version of this.
Thanks.